Hi everyone. I got a few questions recently, so I'm using this video to answer them. It's mainly two questions, so I'll try to put it into two separate segments. I think with all my videos, they have titles, and you can move to each section by clicking on the link that's in my description in case you just want to skip ahead. So, okay. The first thing is this really a practical way of living? Can you actually make it work in Italy, just teaching, etc.? Um, and I have to say, the person that asked me this, you already have all your paperwork sorted, which I'm assuming, and I'm guessing that you already speak Italian, so you're way ahead of us than when we first started. And so that's two thumbs up for you. If that's your case, it really, I have to say, it depends. It depends on the school that you find, and you're not going to know about the school until you actually come there and start working. Um, so it just depends. We've had different experiences. We worked at two different schools in one franchise that's called British Institutes. They have a lot of different locations throughout Italy, and unfortunately, it's on the blacklist for Italian schools, but I think, I think that's because the person saying that had a problem with one or two of the individual schools, but I don't see how you can blacklist an entire franchise if you haven't actually been to every single one of the schools, or if you know something about the headquarters that is a problem. But anyways, as far as I know, we've not had any serious like scandal issues or anything with working for them. But I will say the pay, let me see, when we were working at one school, we were getting paid 10 euros an hour, and working between on in the big, in the busy times of the year, between 20 and 30 hours. You can do the math. Our cost of living, though, was lower there. And as far as cost of living goes, it depends. It depends on where you're at. But I think in general, if you're American, I think the food here is cheaper. So you're going to be spending a lot less on that every month. Let me see. The time also is a big difference. The school that we're working at now, we get paid more. We get paid 11.50 an hour, I think. Depending on the type of work, we get paid different for different things, but differently for different things. But we work way less because this school is not doing as well. Um, Now, I wouldn't suggest, if the school that you're at is not going well, or it's not going to work out for you in the long run, and you think, okay, well, I have to move. Um, it's kind of like the time that you spent there. It's not a complete waste, but you are having to start over, and it's always harder to start over in a different country. But if you're used to Italy, and you're happy to try something out and then go somewhere else and try that out, fine. But it takes a really long time to figure out how your school works. Also, generally speaking, with English teaching, there's different parts of the year that are slow, and that may also depend on your school. We find that here the summer is really dead and really hard for us to get through, and then we have a few really good months of the year, like March is pretty good, April's pretty good, November is usually okay. But I mean, do you really want to just have a few good months? You have to really get used to your school and find out different things. If you have a plan for the summer, great. Or if you're going to a school that has something set, that's something you might want to find out about if you're checking out different schools. Do they have anything going on in the summer? And I would say don't just we came to the school that we're at now because we thought, oh, this school is open during the summer, and that's why we left the last school, because they closed during the summer. We thought, well, we can't stay here long term if we have to find something else for the summer. Um, but if they just have something going on for the summer, don't assume that they have work for the summer, because what turned out in our case, they got this big project that they wanted us to do, so we did it, assuming that, thinking that it would still be going next year. And the people even said, of course, really Italian, oh, we'll see you next year. But then the project didn't come through the next year, and that left us like really, up a creek without a paddle for the summer because this project didn't come through. And so it's really good to check if the school has stuff going on in the summer, what they have going on, if it's just a 1 year thing, how long they've been doing it, how successful it is. And I generally find it's good to just ask all the hard questions up front so you know what you're dealing with. Um, it makes it a lot easier than just trying to figure it out as you go along and thinking, crud, this is another bad month. What am I going to do? Um, Most of the people here will tell you, and I was told this in the beginning, I was told this loads in the beginning. Excuse me, I just have to have my coffee. Um, that you have to find, oh, people were just like, you have to find other sources of income. You can't just teach, it's not going to be enough. Almost everyone I know here is doing that, and I sort of just was like, oh, okay, whatever, when I came. But we didn't have any ideas. I don't have any real skill sets that I can't like make things, or I don't know. Anyway, loads of people get really creative, but it's a really good idea to think about what else could I do on the side, because almost everyone I know that lives here has a main job that they consider their main whatever, and then they have like two or three side jobs. So it's just really normal. But if you can manage to get some sort of freelance work before you come here as a backup, I don't think you'll have any problems at all, because as long as you've got something that's, getting you through the first year, because the first year might be a little bit rocky. We find that, like it gets better over time, but the progression is so slow that most people don't want to bother with it. I mean, most of the people that I know that are in their 20s came here for a year or two, maybe three, and then left because you could make loads more money in America or England or Australia, wherever. You can make loads more money in other places. Why would you stay here? So if you really want to be in Italy, or if you think that's where you should be, at least for a time, or whatever, go for it. But most people I know don't stay here because they're not making enough money. Now, quality of life is different. I mean, the pace is slower. There's a lot of things that we like about it, and I've talked about all of those things. So it just depends on what you want, really, what kind of lifestyle you want, I guess. It does take a lot of time, as I said, though. Give it two to 4 years, and I know a lot of people are like 2 to 4 years. What? Um, but it takes, you have to get set up in an area. If you know Italians already, great. If you speak Italian, you won't have lots of problems, because it will be really easy for you to get into the community and meet people and make friends. It will be really like smooth. And it's a little bit weird, but I really think in Italy it's about who you know. If you have Italian friends, they're going to help you out. If you're looking for more work or something, you're not going to have a problem because you can speak Italian. So if you want a little side job, you have lots of options. Even though, and Italians are going to be pessimistic about this and say there's not a lot of work out there, but I don't think you'll have a problem. I'm working three jobs at the moment. I teach. I do some proofreading for a publishing company as with my husband, and I also work at a restaurant. And working at a restaurant when you don't speak great Italian is like, you really do just want to kill yourself. But if you already speak Italian, teaching might just be the way to get your foot in the door. And then if you want to keep doing it and do something else, you can do that. I mean, when you first come, you sort of just want to get here and get started and get settled, and then you sort of work out what you want to do and where you go from there. Um, so, anyways, that's that. Okay. Issue of whether it's better to work in the north or the south, or how different areas are different. It depends. As far as I would think, if you're in a city, you're probably going to get paid more, and there might be more work, but there's also going to be more competition. So if you have teaching certificates, yada yada, great. If you have experience teaching, great. If you don't, you might have to go for smaller towns, because a lot of people these days are requiring that you have certification, which doesn't take long, but it's expensive. And if you don't want to drop the money on it, it's a little bit harder to get in to the system. But you speak Italian already, so that's real positive, because a lot of young people will come here and they'll have all their certificates in order, but they won't speak Italian. And that, depending on the school that you're in, some people don't mind that. Some people think it's better. Some people think it's worse. Just depends. Um, from what I hear, I don't really know. I wasn't technically in the South. I was, Rome-ish, around that, sort of to the east of Rome. But the cost of living is supposed to be lower in the South, so I assume that you get paid less. But I have also heard lots of stories about sketchiness with pay, and this just happens, I think, sometimes in Italy, where you just do work, and then people are like, "Well, we can't pay you." or we can't pay you right now, or we'll have to pay you later. No. Um, I, any sort of situation like that, I would just say get out of, make a big fuss, and don't work with anybody like that again. And I think that is a more common occurrence in the South than it is in the North. But, I don't know. We've not had any experience. I mean, loads of people try to rip us off because we don't speak good Italian and they think we're idiots. So that's just part of, not speaking the language great, but you won't have so much of that problem. But people might try to rip you off because you're a foreigner, or maybe they'll think of you as a foreigner. I don't know. Maybe they don't know the difference. Maybe you don't have an accent, which is great. But don't put up with that. Sometimes Italians do put up with it. If somebody's not paying you regularly or the right way or whatever, just get out, get out, get out. Um, Also, I'm putting in my link in my description, a link to another guy's video that I saw recently that's I think is really good. You might want to ask him a few things because I think he has done most of his work in the South, and he's an American. I think he's been here longer than us, so and he's got a lot of good things to say um, about different things, and he might have more experience with what you're looking for. So, is there anything else? I think that's about it. I'd say just we did not do preparation. We were not ready to move to Italy, and we just came. And it's getting better. But you sound like you have a lot of things going for you, and the move for you at least will be a lot easier, etc. So um, if you're up to it and you're feeling adventurous and like you could cut your lifestyle back for a year or two to settle up here and get things in order, why not? Why not see what you think of it? But if you don't really want to just come in and take all the effort and all the just like moments, if you're not looking for that and you don't think you could handle it, then I would say don't bother. It's probably not worth it. If you're traveling here enough, you get a lot of the experiences and stuff that it's not the same as living here, but you're getting all the benefits of it basically without any of the problems. So it just depends on you really, and what you are up for, what you're ready to go for. So I'm sorry that this video is really long. So I will shut up now. Bye.